in the audience and will be passing out handouts. Zoe, who is 15 years old and has always been unschooled and pursuing her passions which include exogeology, Jeopardy, and writing. She still finds herself in the boxes of unschoolable, Bravo, and game show host. In addition to being a model, Lisa is a publisher and author for Do Life Right, Inc. In her self-fulfillment pursuits, she finds herself in the boxes of life coach, self-help guru, and therapist. In addition to being a Bravo, Greg is a computer engineer. In his entrepreneurial pursuits, he finds himself in the boxes of designer, typewriter, and marketer. The Bentley family is a radical, unschooling family. They've been featured on the Today Show, as well as 2 other TV news segments in Arizona and California. The family works together to figure out if the boxes of radical, unschooling, California or Arizona residents and conference speakers apply to them or not. Let's welcome Zoe, Lisa, and Greg.
What box are you in? Yes, you. All people tend to naturally apply boxes to themselves in order to describe themselves to other people. Boxes that you might find yourself in might be Republican, Democrat, Californian, foodie, doctor, engineer, fitness junkie, or couch potato. You might find yourself in different boxes at different times. For example, you might be in the lawyer box while you're at work and the sailor box during your free time. Right now, I'm going to talk about 3 boxes that are probably very familiar to all of us. They are homeschooling family member, parent, and internet user. All boxes have several attributes associated with them. I like to think of these attributes as being physical objects contained in actual boxes. Some of the attributes associated with being a member of a homeschooling family include rigid schedules, curriculums, reports, tests, projects, Christian fundamentalist, or New Age hippie, and in the same box, secluded children who just spend all day in their homes, don't go anywhere, close-knit families, parents with teaching degrees, and naivety. So all of those descriptions apply to all of us all the time, right? No? Well, how about this box? The parent box. Some attributes associated with being a parent include being caring and loving, being a strict disciplinarian, being a gourmet cook, a round-the-clock teacher, a handyman, giving out hugs and kisses, and teddy bears, and being a combination nurse, chauffeur, and maid. All parents are all these things all the time, right? No? Okay, well how about the internet user box? Here's the portrait of an internet user. They have encyclopedic knowledge of everything. They're a Facebook user, gamer, programmer, blogger, tweeter, have no real-life friends, but have 10,000 followers. They're unable to spell or form a complete sentence, and they must use abbreviations, acronyms, and emoticons in all communications. OMG, totally right, AFAIK, right? Oh, well, smiley. At this point, you're probably starting to think, well, some of those are right, and some of those are right for my friends, but not for me. And some of those are complete stereotypes or complete myths. And there must be some more descriptions, some more attributes that you haven't even listed. Well, you're right. And that's the problem with boxes. None of them ever completely fit just right. Right now, I'd like to hand out 2 handouts that apply to your peers, and the ones that don't apply to anyone but are still associated with that box. Be honest. Write down everything you can think of. So, T is passing out handouts, and be patient if you haven't gotten one. She'll get the whole audience. 3 of my boxes are writer, scientist, and teenager. Some of the attributes associated with being a writer include being introverted, antisocial, creative, always complaining about writer's block, must use one particular way to write, like only can use their typewriter or must have that lucky pencil. They always know the right words. They always know the right words to use. They have great grammar, perfect punctuation and spelling. They only love the classics. They're wrapped up in a fantasy world, and they're a boring person. Plus, they are right-brained. Some attributes associated with being a scientist are introverted, antisocial. Maybe those first 2 apply to me since they popped up twice. Logical, kooky, bad hygiene, smart on all subjects, smart only on one subject. Socially awkward, white lab coat, I take that thing everywhere. We left that in the car though, right? Okay, forgot to bring it in. Test tubes, complicated terminology, smart, and left-brained, even though writers are supposed to be right-brained. Sometimes boxes conflict with each other. And attributes associated with teenagers are surly, moody, rebellious, boy or girl crazy, unreliable. Here, you can take over now. Lazy, sleeps till noon, doesn't know what to do with their life. Between the ages of 13 and 19. Tons of free time, living the best time in their life, has no worries, is an extrovert, never mind that writers and scientists are supposed to be introverts, and talks on the phone all the time. The real picture of me is somewhat different. Excuse me, I've got to take this. Oh, hi. Oh, nothing, just giving a speech. What's up? What was I saying? The real picture of me is somewhat different. For one thing, I hate talking on the phone. In the writing box, I am an introvert, but not antisocial. I'm creative, and I try very hard to have perfect punctuation and spelling. I don't only love the classics, and I'm not wrapped up in a fantasy world. You guys are real, right? You tell me if you weren't. Oh, good, thanks. No, I'm not. I don't think I'm a boring person, and I'm just a little bit right-brained. In the scientist box, again, I am an introvert, but not antisocial. I'm logical, and I don't always wear my white lab coat everywhere, only some places. And I've been told that I'm smart, and I know that I'm just a little bit left-brained. As for that teenager box, I am between the ages of 13 and 19. I haven't yet met a teenager who isn't. Lisa?
Thank you, Zoe. I hope that each of you has filled in at least one of those labels. Is there anyone new in the audience that doesn't have the handouts? So, Tegan, can you please get the handouts? fill out at least one box and put at least 3 or 4 attributes. Ideally, you'll fill out all 3 boxes and have about 100 attributes under each, because the more, the better. I personally really enjoy doing this exercise because it helps me really see what applies to me and what doesn't apply to me, and what I want to apply to me versus what other people put on me. The problem with boxes is starting to become obvious. What I hate is when I get in a situation where I tell someone something about my life, and because I tell them that one thing, they start making assumptions about me. I used to always think, well, if they've put that label on me, or if I've put that label on myself, then I better start living all of those attributes. But I've come to realize that's ridiculous. Recently, I went to the dentist. I was sitting in the dentist's chair, and he was making small talk with me, and he asked me about my family. And I said, I have a husband, and I have 2 kids, and he asked how old they were, and I said, they're 11 and 15. And then he told me, now open your mouth and say ah, and I did, and immediately he started in on 15-year-old. That's scary. That's a bad age. I remember when my kids were teens, those were the worst years of my life. I immediately started wanting to talk back, but I can't because my mouth is open and no words will come out or I'll bite him, although maybe I should have bit him because he was really starting to annoy me the more he went on and on and on about how horrible it is to live with teenagers. Because the fact is, I love my teen and I'm sure I'll love Tegan when she's a teen. Teenagers are great, in my opinion. But he put me in that box just because I said the words, I have a 15-year-old daughter. I wasn't even on the same shelf as him, let alone the same box. When you find yourself in a box, you're probably doing something wrong. Sometimes you see that it fits perfectly. But the question is, when you try it on all kinds of different boxes, things don't fit. This one, I won't fit in at all. You get out all those attributes. Sometimes it fits perfectly, but usually it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it's important to actually take a step back and look at what all of those attributes are and start picking and choosing which ones do fit and which ones don't. And I like to take the ones that do fit and I like to put them in a basket. This basket is me. It represents not a box label, but rather who I am. And I choose a basket rather than a box because I don't like to be defined all the time. I like to be able to always see what my personal attributes are. I like to be able to throw ones out when they don't apply to me anymore and get new ones when they do apply. I really like the idea of a basket, whether it's a laundry basket or a wicker picnic basket because it has holes in it and I can shake it as I walk around and things can just fly out without my having to do anything about it. Because it's open. I can see it. I can think about it. But if it's in a box, it's stuck in there. I can't get rid of them without lots of introspection. So I'd like to talk with you about 3 boxes that I have actually put myself in, and I've dismantled them over the years. The first box is public school. I was really, really good in school. So when I became pregnant, the first thing Greg and I did is we bought a house in a great school neighborhood so that our child, boy or girl, would be going to the best school in the area. Because after all, I loved this box. I was good at this box. So was Greg. We were both top in our class. this was the answer to life, or so we thought. Zoe, however, had completely different ideas when she was born. By the time she was 3, she was reading full-length books and talking in such long paragraphs that just astounded everyone except for us, who we just thought, well, that's just Zoe, that's how she is. At the time, we were hanging out with a lot of attachment parenting crowd in La Leche League, and I was noticing that they were all embracing the homeschooling box. And since it became really obvious that the public schooling box, no matter how much I previously loved it, wouldn't apply to Zoe, we decided, well, let's try on the homeschooling box. That's what everyone around us is doing. But the more I started watching the families around us, I started seeing that they were basically doing public school at home. And they were having the same issues that Zoe would have had. The more they taught to their kids, no matter how close the attachment parenting years made them, they were putting a rift between the parent and the child. And that was something that I didn't want for our family. And so what this did is I stepped out of both the public school box and the homeschooling box, and it left me feeling alone and abandoned and what applies to us. I wanted something. And wiseness of my family, they said, why do we need a box at all? Why don't we just take the things we like, take the attributes we like from both of those things, and keep those, and get rid of the rest? For example, we like